Hi there, I am Ané Auret, dating and relationship coach. And if you're somebody who is really thinking that you are doing everything that you can on your dating journey, but things just aren't working out for you, then do stick around. I want to talk to you about 5 potentially hidden blocks that are just under the surface that we're not always aware of that might be holding you back. The very first one is, interestingly, something that can potentially cause you to give quite mixed messages, and that comes down to ambivalence. So ambivalence is really when what you think and say that you want doesn't quite line up with what is actually happening, with what you're actually doing. You really want to date, you really want to meet somebody, but inside of you, you are actually maybe more committed to your career or to your business or traveling, and maybe you only have a space to go on a date maybe once every 3-4 weeks. So there's no right or wrong here, because if you're committed to your career or your business, that's great. But if you're also committed to finding somebody and meeting somebody and going out and actually date and then build relationships, then something is going to have to give at some point a little bit for you to enable yourself to actually prioritize meeting people and dating and building a relationship. To some extent, I think we can have it all, but it does take effort and it does take prioritizing. So it's just about really asking yourself, if I want to a relationship, if I want to date, if I want to meet somebody, how much do I want this? But it's just, I guess, checking your internal commitment to what it is that you say you want. Number one. But sometimes we're not so aware of how much hurt or pain we're still carrying from a previous relationship, or something that hasn't worked out in the past, or unresolved trauma or baggage. We think we might have worked through it, but unfortunately we haven't yet. The second thing, just to check in with yourself. What have you been through in your life that you think might be unresolved for you still, that might just be there under the surface? Because at the same time, and this is linked to number 3, is potentially hidden beliefs or blocks about love and dating and relationships and commitment and intimacy that are holding you back, that can cause you not to really go all in, because maybe you have a very deep fear of rejection. Maybe you have a very deep fear of being vulnerable. Maybe you have a really deep fear of showing who you are, and then somebody doesn't like you for what you're showing them, right? And these are all very, very valid, very real fears that I think most of us, and definitely myself included, struggle with. Now, a lot of these things are relationship dynamics that we're not always aware of. So just something to keep in mind, that this could be a hidden block that might be holding you back. Then the fourth one is something that I often hear from my clients, because so much of dating and relationships and entering into a relationship and still being in a long-term relationship requires you to take the risks and to let go and to surrender and to just really give yourself over to so many things. But if you are somebody who really struggles to give up control and feel like you want to control every step of your dating journey and how this is developing, and when you get into a new relationship with somebody, that you want to control how this is happening, you want to set the pace, you want to make sure everything is happening according to a certain time scale. These are just a few examples. Then you might find that that is really going to hold you back as well. This is not about you being a control freak at all. This is not like that. This is just really being aware of a dynamic in yourself. The last one that I want to cover with you is kind of linked to the first one when we talk about ambivalence. Often what I see with clients or women that approach me is that there's a difference between being available and approachable. Just because you're available, so to speak, doesn't mean that you're necessarily approachable. So the thing here to be mindful of is that whatever energy, whatever vibe, and I talk a lot about energy and vibe, whatever energy and vibe you are projecting to the outside world, is that you make sure that it actually projects in a way that says it's okay to come and talk to me. It's okay to make a connection with me. It is about us at least just giving that little window of opportunity to say, you know, I am available, I am single, I'm open to connection, and it's okay for you to come and talk to me. And it's not going to be a horrific experience. Just to recap quickly, we talked about 5 potential hidden blocks that might be holding you back in your dating journey. The first one, we talked about ambivalence and potential clashing internal commitments and priorities and giving out mixed messages. That was the first one. The second one, we talked about unresolved pain and trauma and baggage. That is taking up a lot of space inside us still. The third one was around hidden blocks and beliefs and barriers. That's very much connected to hidden fears around rejection and vulnerability and people getting to know us and then rejecting us because they don't like what they see and hear. And then we talked about control and a deep-seated need to control an outcome, a situation, a timescale, the pace of how something develops. And then the last one, we talked about the difference between availability and approachability. If you have any hidden blocks that you can think of or that you have experienced or things that resonate with you, or if you have any questions or comments, just drop them below. I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Sending you lots of love wherever you are. Bye for now.